Acha, by the way, before the internet algorithm told you what to buy and what you should really care about, real men bought tools that whirred and clicked and buzzed, that made sounds, that was real hardware. And then the phone came in, and then the apps came in, and then everything became very soft. So I'm not saying that we'll ditch all of the tech that we have today, but going back and bringing back the old analog piece in some of the way in your life, I'm sure will bring in a lot of happiness in your life. A lot of these stuff that I'm going to discuss today, or the tools I'm going to discuss today, are actually, some of them I had to actually research and figure out. And I was so excited to share it with you because I felt that this can be actually some sort of a therapy in disguise. So let's see if we can use some of these for a week, and I'll be very happy to know what changes it made to your life, in some way. Tell me for sure, and let's get into it now. This is going to be very tricky because I am a guy who's got a lot of beard. The first one is a double-edged razor blade. Okay, I have been genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, meaning to completely shave off my beard and let that razor go over my face skin and give me that pleasure for the longest time. I don't know, probably I have this beard for about 7 or 8 years now. My wife just doesn't allow me, my daughter doesn't allow me, mother doesn't allow me. They're like, don't shave. And I want to somewhere deep down, and I will do it one day. And I will let you know about it. But anyway, the point is that, so there are two things, right? When you use a razor blade, it's about the real skill. It's about the pressure, the angle, the lather that comes with it. It's precision grooming, and making lather on your face, and then making a razor go over it to completely make a clean shave. Wow, it's a beautiful feeling. The second part to it is, when you don't want to do it yourself, you go to a salon and let a bhajam do it for you. It's amazing fun. It's even more pleasurable. It's an even better therapy then. Sometimes I remember when I used to do clean shave, and I'll probably put up some pictures when I was clean shaved. And I know that only men can relate and resonate with this pleasure and therapy that I'm talking about. Please put in a comment about this and tell me how you felt it. And if you are actually growing a beard now, do you really miss the razor in some way? And do you want to go back to it? And will you do it? Tell me. And bhaiya, there are other pluses on this, is that you save money. And if you want to feel very environmental conscious, you save a lot of plastic and stuff. And the steel feels real, yeah. It's like a real steel going over your face. It feels amazing. So try it and tell me. Okay, the next one. Did you ever search Google for best electric screwdriver under 999 or under 1,000 rupees? Bhai sahab, fixing things in our house has been an Indian thing for the longest time. And fixing things in the house outside of India is really a necessity because the labor is so expensive. India mein labor cheap mil jata. That's why you always have a carpenter and a plumber, or somebody to fix things in the house, a handyman somewhere very close and cheap. So we call them. But I have a toolbox. I recently, not recently, for about 4 or 5 years, I bought this toolbox which has pretty much all types of screwdrivers. And I think most men buy it, but they don't use it. My goal is, and I have been reasonably successful in doing that, I also assembled a few IKEA furniture, and then I got bored, and then I also arranged people from Urban Club to assemble. Then I went back to assembling again myself. But my point is that we should go back to fixing things on our own. Men should do it. It's in a way a therapy, and you also save a lot of money. Try this, and the satisfaction and accolades you get from your wife or your mother and folks at your house is tremendous, right? I mean, once you fix a thing and you show off and take your mixer or take your door and see, I've fixed it, no problem, I've done it for you, and that brings a smile on their face, and then you feel like a man, don't you? Next one. This is very interesting, and I'm talking about an old school Kodak type camera. An old school camera. If you can find one, I'm sure you can find one on Amazon. And I'm also going to do this as a project. I'm going to experiment. This is going to be very interesting. Imagine you don't have endless selfies that you can take on the phone. You have this limited roll, and I'm talking about buying a roll and putting in the camera and then using it, because now you have only limited pictures that you can click. And I'm sure it will completely rewire your brain. And your brain will make sure that it gets the angle right, it gets the light right, and it gets everything right. If you don't know, you'll probably ask somebody, you'll watch a YouTube video and try and learn it. But you'll make sure the picture that you grab is amazing. And the experiment then is to actually find a processing lab that actually processes films and get it processed. Because I remember, I was born in the 80s, so I remember my folks, so my father and my family, they went to a lab and they processed the films and then got back. I still remember how We went to the studio to take, these pictures, these passport pictures, the posing pictures with the family, with, if you have a special occasion, stuff like that. So I still remember that. And the labs, the studio labs had a very different kind of vibe, if you remember. Tell me what comes to your mind. What was your experience when you went to these kind of labs? But anyway, tell me if in your area you have labs like this, and take this up as a project and tell me how successful were you doing this. Actually, I'm talking about point and shoot cameras, and I'm sure you will find a lot of India mein pata nahi second hand how will you get, but try it. But there are also new point and shoot cameras that you can buy, on Amazon. So let's do this together. Okay, the next analog thing that I want you to do is, get hold of a good old mechanical hand winding watch here. I remember it's very nostalgic. My father was a great person. I remember his watch. He had a very square type of Seiko watch with him, and I remember my uncle had gifted him, and he used to wear it all the time. And I'm such an idiot. After my father passed away, I was wearing it one day. I went to a meeting or an interview, and because I was so fond of the watch, I wore it, and I lost that watch, guys. I lost that watch, and I still feel bad about it. And the reason I bought the only watch I have, a mechanical watch, is a Seiko watch, because I wanted to sort of have that feeling once again and sort of revive it in a way. In my father's memory, I bought this watch, so I have a Seiko watch, and it works with this energy. So you have to wind it every time. And if you don't wear it for a few days, it stops working. So, but it's a different vintage. It's a very analog feeling. I can't explain it to you. If you have one, you can tell me and share it with others. But people who have it will resonate. People who don't have it, buy a cheap one. Don't go for a Seiko if you don't want to. There are a lot of vintage watch websites, and genuine ones also. Watchopia, I think, is one. You can go to their website and buy an old HMT also if you want to. It's about 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 rupees. You'll get it. And then see how it sort of changes your life in some way. It kind of slows you down. It's fun. Have fun. Okay, the next one is writing letters by hand. Kya zamana ho gaya? I don't know when we last wrote a letter. New generation, I think they've probably never written letters. Writing letters. I remember I might have written maybe one or two letters on inland, the blue color inland letters. My parents used to obviously write a lot, and they used to also receive a lot of letters like that. But it still exists. That's the point. The other day we went to this governor's house tour. I think you should take it if you're in Mumbai. You can actually book this tour. My brother booked it for us. It was a surprise, and it was an amazing experience. Right in the morning, you have to reach there around 7 a.m. in the morning. Then it's by the sea. It's amazing. But anyway, so you get out of that place, and just when you get out, just before the gate, there is a post office. So I had my niece and my daughter write a letter, a postcard to each other, and they posted it. Unfortunately, my daughter's letter went to my niece. My niece's letter never came to my daughter. My daughter still checks and asks why it did not come to her. But anyway, the point is, एक letter लिखो यार, एक postcard लिखो, and send it to a friend. Ask the address and send. Don't tell them why. When they get the letter, I want you to tell me what was their reaction. And surprise people like this. It's on my list. I will do it. Let my daughter and my niece do it, but I will do it for friends and relatives now. It's going to be fun. Trust me. When I was very small, I used to be very surprised. How does a letter travel? I don't know if it's too dumb to say this, but I don't know how a letter travels from that. Once you put that letter in the post box, how does it travel? I thought it's some connected underground, but that's me. Very dumb as a kid. But you tell me what you thought about it. All right? But do this thing. One is listening to vinyl records. I remember I used to listen. I never had this vinyl record player at home. We were not that Amir at all. We only had a radio. But I remember in my chawl, we used to on 26th January, we had this annual function, and the records used to be played on a vinyl player. And it used to be such an amazing sight to see that record spinning. And I used to wonder, how does that spinning and that pin translate into music on the speaker? Even now, I think a lot of you all don't know. So if you just Google, you'll understand it's that waves, when it hits the pin, it creates a sound. It's amazing technology. It's a very vintage technology. But I'm so happy and glad that it still exists in a different way. In a way that now we obviously have vinyl record players, and good ones. They go into lags. But also the better news is that you'll get a decent player for about 25-30K, and then you can connect some decent speakers to it. You'll probably need an amp or something to it, but you get some systems which are all in one. So if you want to invest, I would say not indulge, because the sound you get out of that and the way it makes you feel is different. I'm not an audiophile, but I have an audiophile speaker. I love listening to music. I'm a musician myself. I make music. I used to make music. I had a band. So I have a decent set of speakers and amp, and I have a streamer. But now my goal now is to add a vinyl record player, and I will do that. You do that and you will understand what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, the next one is not really an analog stuff, but it's an analog process. I'm talking about taking nature walks. I don't do these nature walks a lot. I love going to the beaches. I'm not don't misunderstand me. I'm not a water person. I'm actually a trees and camping kind of a person. That's why I got the Jimny. My goal is to go more of camping, and that in itself is a different way of talking to the nature. But nature walking, camping, overlanding, these kind of experiences I want to talk about. I want to push you all to try and do this by exposing ourselves to natural environmental surroundings. Really slows you down in a good way. It will clearly just lower your stress and automatically improve your mood. Whenever you get time, or actually make time and schedule these trips. And if you can go for camping and stuff like that, having a tent somewhere by the lake or a pond or a nice place, do that. And it also is a fantastic opportunity to disconnect from the technology. I know most of these places will have no network and carry very less technology with you. Maybe a car or some kind of transport, and maybe a phone you want to keep away, in the car and just sit there. So yeah, do this too. So I'm wrapping this up. My idea with this video was not to turn you into a primitive person, but once in a while, taking these things up and cranking instead of swiping and clicking can definitely bring a lot of joy to our lives. So my push to you all is that, try to use one of these tools this week and tell me how does it feel and see what difference it can make to your life. Have fun. I'll see you in the other video.